I want to talk about going through the W door. We did Y, we did Z. The W door. What does the letter W sound like? W, like there's more than one U, is a double. There's an etheric double, what we call a spirit body. That's who you are in all of your dreams. You know, when you're flying around and all of that in your dreams, or anything in your dreams, that's never your flesh, but you're 100% there. That, in a nutshell, is your etheric double. And I used to wonder, like, why, like, over the years, you know, people used to cry around me. Like, if they saw me or read, you know, I would be reading stuff or reciting stuff, and it wouldn't be, like, anything that would necessarily pull on anybody's emotional heartstrings, not to my knowledge. But there was many times, like one time I was like 14 or 15, and I was reading my rhymes, just going through my rhyme book, and you know, the young lady who was like maybe like 5 or 6 years older than me, so she might have been like 19 or 20. She just started crying like while I was reading, and I was like, "What's going on?" You know, I didn't think that, you know, was it something that is one of these rhymes, is, you know, because this was early on when I was rhyming, very early on. You know, I was still imitating the Nas's, the Mobb Deeps, and the Wu-Tang Clans of the world back in these days. So, you know, I didn't know what to think, you know. And she was like, "Nah, I see a halo around you." We're indoors though, you know, and there's no light above us where we are. We were in the kitchen, but the light in the kitchen was off, and I wasn't facing the window. So there was, the window was not behind me. I was facing the window, so there was no way that a halo could have been seen around me, because this was like going into dusk. It was like, you know, getting ready to be dark. So we were getting ready to start cutting on lights. You know, there was more people in the house and everything like that, you know, of course. But she said she saw this halo. And she was an eclectic individual. So I was like, all right, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But then I had this other time where it was this older lady. She was like in her 80s or 90s. And she was like, you know, getting ready to die. She was like, maybe probably only had a few months left to live. And every time she saw me, she would cry. And people would always say, you know, Mrs. Such and Such would like to see you. And, you know, I'd go see her and give her a hug. This is in church. But she would always just start crying. And I was like, you know, I thought about that for like mad years. Like, you know, what was that about? I wasn't even smart enough to inquire why, although I did wonder, you know what I mean? But I just chalked it up to like, yo, you know, the person loves you, you know what I mean? But I didn't know the lady, you know, but she saw what the other young lady saw and what people are continuing to see. The nimbus is also referred to as the etheric double. This is evidence that you have an etheric double. But apparently you're only supposed to see or experience your etheric double in either transcendental meditation, or if you're in your dream state, like in a dream body. If you see it in the real world, in the 3D world, that means a convergence has taken place. You know what I'm saying? And the whole time, whatever my highest self was, it was always down here within me, like hiding behind my skin. So, and this is also why I have like a certain glow on me, you know what I mean? Like I can't use lotions or greases or cocoa butters or nothing. My skin is just gonna shine. You know what I mean? I wash my face like 10, 15 times a day. You know what I mean? Not on no OCD stuff or hard scrubbing, but just, I chalked it up to just having oily skin. Like, I got oily skin, but nah, that's not what it is. And then I did further research, and it has everything to do with the Christos, which is the third eye, the pineal gland that secretes this oil that spreads throughout your body. Starts from right here in the center of your forehead, right where they call it the T-zone. And right now, it's right now, you know what I mean, happening. And it always does, no matter what. They call this the light, like your glow. This is what they were talking about in, Exodus, when Moses was coming down off the mountain and had to put a veil over his face because his face was shining so bright that the people couldn't even bear to see the glory of his face. But he really had that on because he didn't want them to see his glow fade. That's why he had the veil on. And this is also why you get in the New Testament, where Jesus took Peter, John, and James up on a high mountain and you just saw sunlight pouring out of his face. This has everything to do with that etheric double. Transcendental meditation will cause that convergence where the etheric double, the body, the angel you that's supposed to be like in higher heights and other dimensions, it'll be right here in your 3D skin, right inside of your skin, like right inside of your head. It will be another you though. It'll be what they call it, the voice of reason, the angel on your right shoulder, that kind of consciousness. That's you, but it's more than you too. That's a you. This is hard to explain, but there's basically more than one you. There's two yous. There's the earth you and there's the, supernatural, otherworldly you. They're both the same person, but one is more advanced. It's almost like you're in the future in a higher dimension, guiding yourself right now through the present. This body is supposed to be elsewhere though. But should you be a certain being, and I was born under certain natal charts with a certain gematria behind me that suggests that, yeah, my etheric double will always be right here with me. Along with that, I received one of the strongest confirmations the other day. In the deep occult world, somebody gave me the title of Shiva. And really, there's no higher title on the left-hand path than Shiva. That's basically the creator and destroyer of worlds. My responsibility in this, though, is to stay primordial in terms of transcendental meditation. My goal is to keep a permanent transcendental meditation while being fully conscious and fully responsive in my day-to-day world. That's my goal. That's what I strive toward, in soul. So sorry if this video was long, but I just wanted to share that with you. And I hope it made some kind of sense. But those who study this can probably see some synchronicities in their own life. And it probably does correspond to a lot of research that others have done on the subject of the etheric W. But this is the W gate, like the letter W also.